Hey folks, ET here coming at you with the week ahead. This week we are going to take a look at Upstart, INTC, and INTC, so UPST, ETSY, and INTC. All a little bit of a long thesis. UPST for me is a bit of a long thesis, maybe just based off of if a firm does well. So just kind of taking a look at that. Remember, I keep this so simple when I go. I look for support and resistance levels drawn by our AI, that are AI generated, that are near gamma levels to look for where things are going. Remember, our big green gamma levels are positive and our red are negative, and our support resistance levels are going to change color depending on where price is. So above, they will be red. Okay, a lot of questions about that sometimes. Above, they'll be red. If price passes, they'll become green. If they're below, they're green because they're a support currently. So if we take a look here, we do have a gamma level at around 30 and a positive, which is a repel, and a nice support AI drawn here around 29.41. That's a good spot for me. That's a spot I'm kind of eyeing for UPST to hopefully dip down to. And then as we get up, we see some gamma going up into the negative pulls here into the 35-36 range. That is about as high as I would look for it. If you drill down a little bit into some smaller time frames, you can see it'll draw some support resistances here right around this gamma for you as well. And as you can see, if you just look left, you can see there's been some price contention around this point right here, which is, well, that's 45. So I went up a little high there because we're on the daily. So what I'm looking for really is hopefully a nice little bounce around 30 and then a run up to 35, and then that is where I'd be looking for a long thesis. That is about as simple as I draw it out. Sometimes I just try to find these levels that have confluence with AI generated support resistance and also with gamma, because that just kind of lines things out. Also, I generally do check the dark pool. We're up here. 3270 is a good spot to look for a bounce as well, because that is our largest aggregate. And if you want to drill down into its individual things, like we do SPY, look at its price distro and other things, you can. So you can see here, if you just took a look at its aggregate, it shows 33 as a spot it needs to pass, and a nice pull to 36. And I think if you look a little further out, shows 35 there as well. So that kind of lines up with some lines on the chart for sure. And so that's just kind of how simply I look for it, and that's how that goes. Now, if it breaks way below and all this, I'm not even going to remotely entertain a log, and I will let it just go. Hopefully it doesn't take off on Monday on me. As always, I keep things pretty simple with my trading. I set an alert on my trading view for a price that I would like to enter, either long or short. When my phone pings and tells me it's time, I revisit real quick. I check net flow really quick, and just what market structure is doing for the day, to make sure that it's not an absolute face melting bear day, for things like that, or the sector itself is doing poorly that day, and I just want to check to see. And then I set myself a stop loss after I purchase, so that way I either win or I lose. I just set a trail and let it ride. So it's pretty simple for me with those things. I just buy convicted, and then I either win or I lose based on if my stop loss triggers or not, whether it went up some and it triggered when and my trail triggered when it started to come down a little bit, or it went against me immediately and went. I don't hold on to things emotionally. I am okay if I am wrong or if I read the data poorly. That is just how that works. So there's UPST, kind of ran through that. Now we'll take a quick look at INTC. A lot of these, I will say, they're dealer Greek back tests, don't really give any really that great of performance. So I just put an X on them when you go through and you check them on their options dashboard here, right? If you go through and you check them, you test them, and they don't really give you some phenomenal results. You start to see red numbers in there. All right, so we just ignore that. Put an X, and we'll say its dealer Greek back test isn't exactly what I want from it. So INTC is doing all right. I would really like to see another bounce here at 68.21, its largest aggregate dark pool level, right? But we can go ahead and you can draw your dark pools and stuff on here as well. I don't do that. The chart starts to get a little bit muddy, a little bit harder to see, but that is how I see it. All right, so we see price right here. We see a gamma sitting right here, and the support resistance. You have to go out a little further, or go drill down, I'm sorry, a little closer in time to get these to match up, and they will pretty well. But what I'm looking for is it to get pull down a little bit, get above this 70, and go to this 75, and hopefully get a nice run up to that 80, which is right around where this positive level, this positive repel gamma level is, and a support around 81. Right? Nothing is absolutely exact. So my plan is pretty simple. I'm going to set an alert and hope it comes down to 68.21. And then I'm going to hold. If it breaks 70 nice and well, I'm going to hold a little bit and trim as I go along. All right, trim, just trim as I go along as it goes up. If it goes against me, or if it goes with me, if it goes against me, my stop will trigger, and that will just be a bad trade that I made. All right, next up is Intel. We've had some news this weekend that they're approving some things, some subsidies for plants and things like that, and for chip makers. And Intel dropped down big time. But here's what's interesting: we have this price right here, and this support level right here, so close to each other at 44.40 and 43.65, within $1 of each other. That's exactly what I like to see. If it happens to dip down here for some reason to this 38.86, that is a great long spot for me. All right, but here's what's interesting: we do have a big pull here at 45 and a big pull at 50, and guess what? At 51 we have a nice resistance level that we're looking there. So my thesis here is simple. It's a long one as well. Oops, let me find its dark pool. It's very far away from its current biggest dark pool level. So what I want to do is I want to long up to it and trim as it gets up to potentially 50. All right, so pretty simple with Intech as well. Everything I have is a long thesis. I'm hoping to be out of all my positions and they all work out exactly how I say by FOMC. I am not interested in holding any longs or any shorts into that. It is a week to take it easy for me. If you've been trading a long time, these volatility events are great to play. Afterwards, some people get very, very, very lucky with the call of if it's going up or down immediately or what happens. What I like to do is just read the data the few days before it, go ahead and take my plays, and then I wait for it to settle a little bit. I wait for it to settle about 30-40 minutes before I start rechecking trading data to see if I want to stay long or stay short, or get it swing long or swing short, or if I just want to scalp some things as we go along. It creates a lot of volatility. We have an awful lot of big tech earnings this week, so there's a lot to keep an eye on. And if you're a newer trader, really watching this instead of gambling is the best way to go. There's no reason to blow up your account trying to get a 1K percenter. If that's the way you're looking, just let the data lead you where you're going after the event has happened. All right, so just keep an eye here on Intech. Would love for it to get back up to that 47 range, maybe that 50 before it taps out here at this 51, as you can see, as it's had some struggles at. So everything I've posted this week are a long thesis. I'm willing to be wrong. If any of them dip below and do not break back above the levels that I've posted, I will not play them. I'll just put an X on them and say that's not a good play. It was a bad read on my end, and I'm going to move along from this play. Hopefully all of this is helpful to you. Hopefully this helps you go in and do your own homework and start to look for plays as you go along and draw out your own conclusions and set your own alerts and start to trade from there. Just showing you how simple it is for you to pick up what you might want to do. You do have to scan for some tickers and look around and look for things that do match up. There's no way to scan for if a gamma level and a support resistance level are near each other. But it's okay to search those out and then check the dark pools, see how far away they are from their things, and just go along and plan those trades. And it's you don't have to watch the charts all day long. You can simply set alerts like I do through your trading view, and it'll let you know when those prices hit that spot. All right, that is all for now. Everybody have a good week. Be very careful this week with FOMC and all the big tech earnings. Stay safe out there and go get that Oprah money.